Hi, I'm Ella from Bad to Fans, and I'm here with Sumi. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Sumi. I am a rapper, a singer, and producer from from Melbourne, Australia.
Yes. And how did you get into music?
I started getting into music when I was about, well, it depends. The long story is I started writing raps when I was about 7 years old, and then I actually started making music when I was about 15, and I started putting it out online, and then from there it's just sort of progressed, I guess. Yeah.
So you recently performed, and that was amazing. How do you think that went?
Yeah, I mean, me and all the guys who we performed today as a band, love performing regardless. I think we all sort of like live for it. So even if we played like horrible, I think we'd all be like just super happy with just being in the presence of the sound, which I'm not trying to, we all just like performing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lovely set. Shout out sound tech as well. Sound here was lovely. But yeah. Michelle and Yara, you did an absolutely wonderful job, and you were also just like so peaceful in the process. Thank you.
And how did you prepare for the show?
Well, we've been performing as a band for about 8 months, so we don't rehearse as much as we used to. So we sort of just turned up today. I prepared personally with a vocal warm-up and tea, and minimal talking during the day. But yeah, I guess we sort of just came here. Yeah.
We love that. Just rocked up and started playing. Yeah, love that. So obviously you're opening for Charlotte today. So how did you meet Charlotte?
Yeah, well, it's quite a funny story. It goes back to when I think I was either 15 or 16, and like any young teenager, I was exploring the depths of Omegle. And funnily enough, we met on there. And she was, at the time, I didn't really have anyone else in my life that was sort of interested in music. And she told me she was a singer, and we sort of just like became friends off of that. And it was like a comforting presence in my life because, yeah, I just was sort of like isolated and sort of restricted to my bedroom about making music. So funny circumstance, but yeah, really like, yeah, and here we are today.
That's such a funny meeting story. Like you never hear that anymore. Well, obviously not anymore since the meeting's gone. But you know, you recently released an EP called All I Know. How did that come together?
Yeah, well, all I know is, so it was sort of a transition period for me. So when I started making music, it was sort of like you sort of just strip beats off of YouTube. I feel, I didn't have any production skills when I was young, and I just sort of spent a lot of my time writing. So a lot of it was sort of like beats. There was one beat on there that I did produce, but it was mainly just like for me, it was a reflection of leaving that sort of old way of creating music behind. Now I either produce everything or I work with other people to sort of create everything. Everything's in-house. We really try to make it as authentic as we can. And the whole period, the way it's written as well. I mean, it's not the most uplifting in terms of the way the narratives sort of follow, but yeah, it was sort of a collection of like my mental state during this whole process of sort of like integrating into, I don't know, the music scene that exists here in Melbourne. And yeah, I maybe the term is to be like further self-realized, and that sort of, yeah, I hope that's good enough. Oh, I think so.
It's good enough. Yeah. You also dropped a song, Bigger Than Me.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind that?
Yeah, I feel like if there's anyone who's ever wanted to be an artist, I don't say that for the sake of being an artist, but sort of felt like some, I don't know, let's call it divine spirit that lives within us. But so sort of that wanting to be artist or express yourself, but sort of being too, I don't know, afraid to sort of go into those waters. And I think for me, there was a lot of suppression growing up. When I first started releasing music, it did really well, but you become subject to a lot of ridicule, and you know you can make plenty arguments around whether or not that's an effective, you know, the buzzword tall poppy syndrome, or you know, anything else, whether it's just kids being cruel or whatnot. But for me, it was just like sort of recognizing the sort of neglect and burial of my love for music growing up, and then also the idea of like, yeah, being happy that I sort of came to terms with that, that I was sort of, I don't know, insecure about it, And then now I'm here obviously, and unashamed, unapologetic. So yeah.
That's honestly so amazing. I love that. And what's your favorite song of yours?
Oh my goodness. That is a torturous question. For the favorite song I've written?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it depends because I have a full album that is unreleased. I have a full EP that is unreleased, and my favorite tracks unfortunately reside in there. But in terms of what exists in the actual world itself that you can listen to, I would say Fading Out, the live version, which is about to be released, but from the recorded studio versions, I'm going to say Close Your Eyes.
And how do you balance time as an artist with other priorities?
Yeah. Well, I took the sacrifice of working a 9 to 5 to support myself financially, to also be an artist. So my life goes pretty simple. I work my 9 to 5, I get off, and I go home and I work on music like another full-time job. So it's like working 2 full-time jobs and then finding the relevant space and time to reflect, be present around friends, cook, make sure I'm not starving. And yeah, I guess sort of just try and be as healthy as I can, and making enough time for everything so I don't go a little insane is probably the good word to use.
Hustling, but making sure you don't go crazy. And what's been your best and worst show?
Best and worst show?
Yeah.
Well, worst is a rough. I'm gonna, out of respect, I'm going to not answer worst show. Okay. I also actually don't know what is the worst show I've done. There was one where I couldn't hear myself, but the actual show itself was really dope. My absolute favorite show, though, was my headline show, which we run back in February. I was at Wax Music Lounge, one of my favorite venues in the entirety.
Such a nice venue.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful.
So nice.
And yeah, we packed it out, about 200 people in the venue. It was a beautiful moment. Also, it was the first headline show I'd ever done, which was a proper childhood dream of mine. So it was a very self-actualized night, which I'm totally and infinitely blessed for both all the people that performed that night and everyone that came down for like literally making a dream come true.
And what's a rumor you'd make about yourself?
Ooh. Well, depends. If you're aware of my shenanigans, you'll probably know me as a very unserious character. So maybe one day I'll slot some form of potential yearning for philosophical discussion. Maybe that's a cop out, but yeah. I feel I don't really. I like to keep it very low key with the perception side of things. That sounds really strange and roboticized, but I feel like everyone portrays some form of character or some form of identity, and I'm not insincere to that, but yeah, I'd say that if you're seeking philosophical or a little bit of existential discussion, I could be up for it. A little conversation. Yes.
We love that. Yeah. And what's your go-to pre-gig food or drink?
Oh, this is an easy one. Orange juice. It is an unequivocal choice.
Goated.
Yeah, absolutely goated.
So good.
And you got to get it with. If you ain't getting pulp, you're doing something ghastly wrong.
True. Understandable. I get it. I absolutely get it. And last question, anything to promote or say to anyone watching?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a live album or live EP coming out, which is actually recorded from my headline show, which is coming out in maybe a month or two. A couple of singles and music videos coming out. And then if you really want to stick around, I don't think I've actually disclosed this, but we're releasing an album in about anywhere from 8 months' time to a year. It is, I shamefully have to admit, it's almost fully recorded. But waiting is a fun process.
It definitely is. Well, you guys heard it here first. Keep following around for many more songs and albums to come. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well.
Thank you for watching. This has been Bads Fans. Bye.